who's running the show. Popcorn's popping, let the truth flow. Severed thoughts, we're cracking the code. Ripping through stories that the screens bestowed. From blockbuster bombs to the gems unknown. We're slicing the scenes, yeah, we're setting the tone. Cue the drama, crank the sound. We're tearing the plot lines down. No secret spared, we're spilling the tea. The 7 floors where you wanna be. Do you wanna cut it? Yeah, yeah. Rip the screen apart, ignite the spark. Do you wanna gut it? Oh, oh. Truth to blame, we're leaving a mark. From the twists to the turns, we're calling it raw. Welcome to the madness of the 7th floor. Do you wanna cut it? Cut it, cut it. Let's review, it's what we do.
And we are back. Welcome back to the 7th floor, everyone. I am your host, Hinano. Thank you for joining us. Did you guys miss me? Because I only realized today that I haven't been streaming for a whole freaking week, guys. And you guys won't see me this week because I'll be gone on a business trip. So today will be the only time you'll see me. So lucky you. But guys, today we are going to be reviewing the season 2 premiere of Peacemaker, along with my other co-host here. You got D1 and Only and Video Shane. And guys, we also have a flurry of guests in the studio as well. I will bring them up right after. But for people that don't know what Peacemaker is, or maybe you've never found the Severed Floor before, the Severed Floor is a show that we started when we started doing TV reviews of the TV show Severance. We decided we had so much fun that we wanted to continue the name by doing other reviews for movie and TV shows, and here we are. And today, once again, we are going to be reviewing Peacemaker Season 2. Now, what is Peacemaker? I know some of you haven't, and if you haven't, please get out of the rock. Peacemaker is a DC series starring John Cena. You might have heard of him, wrestler. He stars as Christopher Smith, aka Peacemaker, an anti-hero who believes in peace at any cost. In Season 1, which is a spin-off from the movie Suicide Squad in 2021, which is James Gunn's movie, it follows Peacemaker after surviving his injuries joining Argus, a Black Ops team who is trying to figure out what's going on with Project Butterfly. It's basically an alien invasion of some sorts in Season 1. It's packed with some gritty action, some really dark humor, and Peacemaker's struggle with his toxic patriotism and his father issues. Set to a killer soundtrack from Season 1. Now, Season 2 is a little bit different, everyone, because there's a soft reboot that happens, and somehow Season 2 is now in the new DCU, which is the Superman universe. If you guys haven't seen the Superman movie, you need to go see that one too. Get out from under that rock. But anyways, in Season 2, it sees Peacemaker discovering an alternate universe where he's a beloved hero, forcing him to Uh-oh. I thought I lost us there for a minute there. Are you guys okay?
Oh, I hear you now. Woo.
Yeah. Okay. Shoot. You guys might have lost me. All right. Well, whatever you guys lost, that's okay. We're going to be reviewing Peacemaker. And let me get everybody in right now. We might have had a technical glitch. That's okay. Guys, we have an action-packed panel here. We got Shay Byron, Meta Beast, Slider, Kristopher, as well as our awesome Video Shane here, who just got his VV Gold logo. Big congratulations. My lovely wife. And then the biggest bro, Mape, he popped in. Let's go to the biggest bro, because there he is right here.
Wow.
Our final co-host. Here we go. And Big Bro, you just showed up at the right time, because we are just going to get right into Peacemaker Season 2, guys. Right off the bat, we find out we are now in the DCU, and I found out why James Gunn did this. He basically is not going to rewrite Season 1 because they don't have enough money to do that. And so basically the easiest thing to do is to pretend like Snyderverse never existed, and that's kind of what's happening here, because they replace the Justice League with the Justice Gang. Right off the bat, no explanation whatsoever. We are now in the DCU, right? Yeah, not the DCEU, the DCU. So you just got to go with it, guys. But right off the bat, this opens up the scene right here. Brand new intro. I want to have the panel's discussion on the intro because I really, really loved season 1 intro. I felt it was very beloved right there. But right off the bat, guys, I gotta tell you, this season started off like a holy shit. And I'm gonna be honest, it's like, what the hell did I just watch? Because that's the first time I seen on streaming TV like this where James Gunn went kind of wacky cuckoo caca. So we're gonna go back here. We're gonna start with everyone. Like I said, it's just gonna be kind of like an open discussion. Now, guys, crazy shit happened on season 2 of Peacemaker. Who wants to go first? Just jump right in.
I will about the opening. Sorry, because this is the very first thing came to mind that I wanted to talk about, because I loved the opening last season. I loved the song by Wigwam. If you didn't know, cool ass story behind that too. They were breaking up as a band just about the time they got asked if they could use that song. So I think that was pretty cool. But did anyone else kind of get the same? It kind of has the same feel as your opening song did, I felt.
Yeah. Well, so I was trying to mimic that as well, right? But more to season 1 instead of season 2.
Awesome. Well, I noticed it for sure. But I do love in this new season opener the way it ends.
Yeah. And so I don't know the significance of that, by the way. And I was trying to, my big issue with this is I'm just not vibing with the song. And I felt like some of them, maybe they're geriatric, but they weren't moving very eloquent with the dancing, but that's just me. But
at the end of this one in the pile, that's there's an image, I believe, of the Suicide Squad characters piled up like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I get it.
You know.
Interesting.
Yes, I didn't know.
He knows Mr. Nitzelflick over there. Go ahead.
I liked the first season's opener more so than the new season. It was more fun, quirky. They were a lot sillier. I don't know. I liked the vibe.
I want to learn the dance.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead, Shane.
I got the sense that I don't know if anybody else sensed this or not, but it almost looked like they weren't as in sync together as they were in the last season.
Yeah.
And I think that might be on purpose, because if you think about it, none of the characters are in sync in this first episode. They're all separated and not together. They are not a team anymore, and everybody is kind of broken up. And I wonder if there's like some symbolism there as far as with the dance, because I was watching it and I was thinking,
100%.
you had a lot of time to get this dance to be perfect, and like you could see like their arms come up for their weird little dance, and like they're off just a little bit. Like one's arm would be this way, and they weren't totally matched up. So I'm wondering, because he's such a talented director, if there's some symbolism going on there to communicate more visually than through just words.
I want to add something to that real quick, Shay, and then I'll jump to you. But like this brings me back to Superman at the very end, when the buildings weren't put back together properly, right? And they're kind of half together, they're a little off, right? That's the same symbolism you're talking about right here with this intro. And I never thought about that until you really talked about this right now, that maybe that's his whole thing, and maybe that's all interconnected. There's some weird stuff going on where things aren't like in sync. So
Yes.
Go ahead, Shay.
So I agree with that 100%. You know what? I did not think about it, so I'm glad you thought of it, Shane, because so they're all from different universes, right? So that's why they're not parallel with one another. So I'm going to go right off the bat. My most favorite part already is the quantum immortality concept, because I'm a big nerd about like all this quantum physics stuff. And I've always said to myself, okay, I believe in, quantum physics and all this. That's kind of my religion, but I don't believe in the concept of quantum immortality, because if you're going to die in this universe and then be reborn in another universe where you have your other self, well, that other person is going to be displaced. So it does not make any sense to me. But then in this show, that comes to head, where he ends up killing his other self.
Spoiler.
So I feel like, because like you said, they're not all together, they're not all parallel, they're not all matching. It plays itself out in the storyline. How and then even those commercials with, I don't know their names, but those commercials in season 1, where they're like, well, there are so many like universes out there, so many different options. If we make a decision to go to order this particular food item, then that could change the course of everything else. And there are so many other possibilities. So to make a long story short, I agree with you 100%. That's the reason why they're not parallel with one another. They're not in sync with one another, because they're all from different universes.
I love that Applebee's commercial.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I forgot about that.
The plot thickens, eh? Kristopher, Slider, anything you want to add to this?
I mean, I was all over that set design and the opening. It was just really awesome. Even though they weren't in sync, definitely those gobos, those electronic fixture lights, and just that backdrop was really awesome to see, especially on the big screen when you're watching that in 4K. So I liked it. Like I said, it might take a minute for me to let that grow as far as the song goes, but hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was going to jump in real quick. Yeah, I definitely like the season 1 song better with everything, but I don't know if anybody caught the podcast afterwards with James Gunn, because he was kind of talking about the dance scene and everything, and I guess they shot it on like the second to the last day is what he said. And he was kind of making fun of them, like how bad they were with dancing. And he was like going through them and saying like, well, you were the worst. You were second to worst. You were third to worst and stuff. So I'm not sure if it was like planned, because he was kind of really getting on them, like kind of joking and stuff, but like how bad they were in the dancing. So, I mean, even he kind of like admitted it, and they even were joking about it, in and among themselves about how it was. And, one of them was complaining about how his knees hurt, and, like how the floor was really tough that they were working on, and it really like hurt their joints and stuff. So yeah, that was just
people problem.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more toward, for that part. Cause yeah, I was kind of like, it was just interesting, like how he was really like, I don't really think he liked that dance scene too much. So,
well, was he saying that to throw us off? Yeah. Or have you debunked Video Shane and my theory?
Yeah, I don't know. I would just say that I thought I was kind of going what you guys were thinking, that maybe it was like a bigger part, but then I just watched that and I was like, I'm not sure. I mean, you never know with James Gunn though, so.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You never know with James Gunn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the song, if I can insert myself in there. Yeah, I really enjoyed season 1's song and dance, because I was actually trying to practice this choreography each time it went on. Because I heard something about, doing a flash mob in Vegas. I don't know if that's true. So I was like, I should prepare myself to like some of these.
Nice.
And
flash mob.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shows that I always skip the intro, but not season 1 of Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I never skipped it.
Because I'm like, you gotta like learn it, right? So maybe you can like YouTube it or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I enjoyed the first one for sure. The second one, I don't know if maybe the more we hear it over the episodes, we may start like, getting used to it. But yeah, it was just like a different vibe right off the bat for me. I was like, okay, I'm still not gonna click skip, but yeah, I really enjoyed number 1, season 1's one more better.
It seemed a little slower too, right?
It does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely different. The whole thing is a different vibe. I mean, really, the whole show has kind of got a different vibe to it. This, well, especially, we'll get to it eventually, but that scene.
It's coming. Pause.
It's coming.
I can feel it.
I like what Valley Boy said, and I would probably skip the openings had he not mentioned that. But maybe if it is a joke, maybe they tighten it up a little bit
over the course of the series.
That would be
or the song changes through every episode, right?
Oh,
interesting.
I kind of hope that.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
You know,
They
and you guys are
definitely-
right, because Gunn is really that exceptional with his. I mean, he just came out with Superman. All of us pretty much cried at the 3-minute mark when that movie started because of the music, right? So you know he's on par with this kind of stuff. And if you've seen like all of his movies, one of my favorite is Slither. You guys watch Slither? That's the best with Nathan Fillion, and like all the music and stuff like that. So he's always been part of the music. You know, I never thought of it until you said this, Shane, but you're probably right. This is all a ruse. So,
it's all
even this, not explaining this and just saying, yeah, well, you know what, we're slow on money. This is probably all part of it, right? Not explaining it, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought that was a great little surprise.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like,
yeah.
And that scene, the interview scene, oh my god.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the interview scene, because this scene was so perfect, right?
It was.
Like he shows up.
It's painful. It's it's funny. Oh yeah, it's great.
Go ahead, Shane. Give your take.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, it's definitely got a Guardians vibe to it for sure. Yeah. It's painful because, you know, he's our lead character and we care about him, and you know, he's the reason we tune in, and here he is, you know, being verbally abused, you know, by these people, and it's hurtful, but yet at the same time, you know, Gunn is smart enough to do it in a way that it's also comedic, and so yeah, it worked on so many levels, and it also got us to experience the what's the word to use? Team matemanship. I don't know. I just made that word up of Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, like them being like more of a friendly, you know, than they were even in the Superman movie. They kind of had a moment in Superman, but like this is like them, like they're pals essentially, and they're like work buddies that can, you know, they're the one in the office meeting texting each other, going, "Can you believe the stupid meeting?" And
it's water cooler time.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and you know, I love how, you know, the little tiny stuff about how the switch doesn't work, like things in Gunn's worlds, like nothing always works 100%. Like even in Guardians, when, you know, he jokes about getting that guy's leg and then Groot brings over the leg. It's like, you know, everything's got a little bit of a joke to it. Yeah. I love this. I thought this was great.
Yeah.
Well,
Big Bro. Oh, so go ahead.
I was just going to say, and there's that. The reason I had said that is because the director or whatever, Gunn, his brother, in the middle there is also in 3 of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and I guess the Green Lantern was in 1 too. That surprised me because that's the first thing I heard. I heard that voice. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, Nathan Fillion is his best friend. Gunn and him are like best friends. That's why I was saying, like, if you watch the movie Slither, like Fillion is the star in that movie, so they go back way back.
Nice.
Biggest Bro, how you been, man? What's your take?
Oh man, just this episode was quite a lot. I really wonder. I want to get the reaction from people who came in from like the Superman movie, thinking they were getting the same kind of vibe, and then this is HBO, like straight up. But this scene was you felt for Peacemaker because like that's our guy, and we like the Justice Gang. Like, you know, we found out about Justice Gang. Like, it's cool. And you're like, all right, this make it happen. But in the end, we know he's not going to be a Justice Gang. Like he's not. We don't want him to be a part of this team. He already has his team. You know what I mean? But just like, you know, he's hearing the hard truth, even though like we know he's not the same guy he was season 1, right? Like he's kind of progressing. He's maturing. He's trying to do better. Like you said, like, you know, he's like, I will kill for peace. You know what I mean? He's like, okay, maybe that was a little tad off, but I'm still down for peace. You know, so yeah, it just and then the fact that he waited until the end was like, okay, am I supposed to hear you guys? Because like you guys are just like freely saying this stuff in front of you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I supposed to think you're a dick? You know? Like,
well, I think that's really a smart line of dialogue too, because that tells us as the audience that he's experienced that in his life before, that people just talk shit right to his face. And so, like, to me, that made him even more sympathetic, that it's like, oh, he's just used to this, people just saying shit to him, and him going, wait a minute, maybe I'm not supposed to be hearing like this. Like, it took him a while to the realization that he wasn't. Yeah, I think this scene and the scene with what's the girl, I can't remember her name. Hardcore. Yeah, like every scene with him tells us as an audience that he wants something else. He either wants to be with this team, he wants to be with her. He wants something that is not in his world right now, and so that leads him to the ending that, you know, I think where I can see where things are going. He wants a different life right now. So
Yeah, no, you're right. I feel for you on this, and I felt for him in this scene. For me, like, because you see him right away, right? Like, he wants to be a hero. You know what I mean? They just saved the world from an alien invasion, right? And so he wants to do good. He wants to join the Justice Gang. He thinks he's there to get interviewed and actually do some good and explain that, you know, he is worthy of joining the gang. And then you notice it's like, okay, these guys, it's literally like work. You know, they're talking shit about you behind the backs. But the problem is, you know, once again, James Gunn's universe, there's always something rickety not working right or something of that sort. So it was very brutal. Another thing, you know, it kind of shows who really Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner is. Now, obviously, you get this type of stuff from Guy Gardner, so, like, you know, this is the stuff you want from him. But Hawk Girl, I'm like, this is a different type of Hawk Girl. And I also go to, like, Supergirl. Like, you know, as much as James Gunn has established that Superman is, like, you know, like the hero, and he's like the goody two shoes, and it's kind of like all stars with him. This is a very colorful universe. One might say it might be even more colorful than Snyder, because Snyder was a lot about serious and being grounded. This is about, you know, really exploring the strange and unknown, as well as exploring the characters themselves, right? And what I love about Gunn is he really is good at fleshing out characters, showing their emotion. Like, obviously, the Justice Gang right here, they're jerks right now in this whole entire thing, and we get to see that and express that. And so that's the look and feel that I'm getting from the DCU right now, and I love it.
Yeah.
Slider, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this was a good scene. I mean, I like the overall episode. It's just, it's very different from Superman. So I mean, it's definitely not like a family friendly thing. So my whole thing with the overall universe he's creating is that if this is going to be kind of like separate, you know, like kind of how, you know, Deadpool is with Wolverine, like, yeah, I'm all for that. But I'm not sure how he's creating the universe right now, you know, with this following Superman so closely, you know, because I mean, that's a big contrast from each other, you know? And so, like, I definitely love Peacemaker. You know, I like the episode, you know, overall, you know, more as like a self-contained thing. So it's just, I'm interested to see how Gunn's going to weave it all together with everything. And I think a part of this scene might be because you can see how Guy Gardner's a jerk and everything. And that's how he is in the comic books. Right. And Hawk Girl's a little different, but that's cool. But I think kind of like how Peacemaker's the outcast here. Like in the comic books, Guy Gardner is kind of the outcast when it comes to the Green Lantern Corps. You know, he's like the one that's not really in there, like, you know, so I think maybe it's gonna flip around on, you know, Guy Gardner later in the, you know, down the line. So yeah, I mean, I think Gunn's gonna do some stuff, and he's, you know, since he, you know, basically like just put this into the universe, you know, we'll see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, so I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at with the whole thing.
Got you.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Shane.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's interesting that you brought up Guy Gardner and where he's at, like this being a jerk, and we've established that in Superman, and now we get more of a flavor of it here in this. And it'll be, now that you say that, Slider, I'm curious to see what they do with him in Lanterns. Like, is he going to grow as a character? And is, you know, he's almost feels like he's the through point, like Tony Stark was for the initial Marvel stuff. You know, Tony showed up in almost every movie as they were building up to Avengers. Like, is Guy Gardner going to be that for this DC world? Because I could see that happening, and having him have a growth and as a character. And the reason I say that is because in Lanterns, you know, if he's the outcast among that group, does that open his eyes to, you know, am I being a jerk to these other people? And these guys are doing that to me. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Lanterns. But anyway,
I feel like that's where the flip is going to happen from what Slider just said, because, you know, in Lanterns, you're going to have the two famous lanterns that everyone does like. And, you know, maybe we're going to see this flip and the water cooler is going to go on Guy Gardner. They're going to be like, oh, Guy, with your Justice Gang or whatever, right? You know, while you're hiding here on Earth while we're actually saving the universe, kind of a thing. Like, I can see that playing out and stuff like that. Go ahead, Dee.
Yeah, I just gotta say, in this scene, like, if you look right now, he's in the spotlight, right? And he's not getting examined, but, like, yeah, he's hearing all the shit talking. And in this screenshot, you can see his reflection. So in a way, like, I don't know if like, that's kind of like his relationship too, right? With, like, his dad, like, when he was younger, his dad wasn't, like, I mean, he wanted approval from his dad and love and just any kind of endearment from his dad, and he didn't get it. He was really hard on him. And even though his dad did all this stuff, like, he was still, you know, trying to do something to, like, prove himself, kind of thing, because he just wants to be accepted and just loved. And then he comes here thinking he can get that, and oh, hell no, he doesn't get that. They just shit on him some more. But yeah, so that was for me, like my thoughts on it. The back and forth though between the three behind the Justice Gang, that was funny. But I mean, not for Peacemaker, but just their dialogue amongst themselves. Yeah, it was funny. And it's like, yeah, Guy is he's so mischievous, like, just, you know, fiddling with that so it wouldn't work and he can hear everything. So I think that was nicely done. I just noticed, like, him being in the spotlight in this picture and just the reflection of himself through the mirror. Yeah, that's my thought on that.
Yeah, and I hope Guy becomes the constant, as you're saying, Shane, throughout the movies. I hope he becomes that Tony Stark type of thing, because I really like Nathan Fillion as an actor, and I really enjoy him as a portrayal as Guy Gardner. I think he's doing such a phenomenal job, and so I would love to see Guy become loved. You know what I mean? Like, but still be his brash self, but be loved, right? You know what I mean? So maybe that'll happen. Guys, I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Now, if you guys have watched season 2 of Peacemaker, you've noticed the shift in the intro, the shift as well with the Justice Gang now being there. But the craziest thing was the shift in Chris's house during the party. Let's talk about what happened at the orgy.
What didn't happen at the orgy?
I never thought I'd say orgy on the 7th floor, by the way.
So when the first part when you see Peacemaker in his undies, right? I was like, oh, here we go, John in his underwear again, and I was like, all right, this is what we're gonna deal with. Little did I know that was just the beginning of what we were doing. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. Okay. We're just gonna stare at this dude for 10 seconds, just sitting there like that. Oh, wow. So all those people that were like, you know, I want to continue and see what the DCU is going to be like, and they're like, what did I just walk into? You know what I mean? Like, imagine you're kind of like late to your to the premiere, and you're like walking in, and they're like 30 minutes in, like, oh, what's happening? What's happening right now? What are you watching? You know, like, that's the perfect time. Like, your mom would come in, like, what are you doing? Like, you know, but yeah, that was think that was a statement of look, guys, we're going here, so be ready.
No, they went. They went.
Yeah. So we saw what the boys did, and we're jump on the bandwagon, So yeah, it was an interesting choice. I think this is going to be interesting to see what people do, right? Because a lot of people don't have that kind of sensibility to be okay with this kind of stuff, and but they still they want to know what's going on with the DCU. So it's going to be really interesting if it's going to be out there like that just for the sake of the shock, or is it going to have reasoning and stuff like that for people to lure people back in and be like, okay, that was kind of wild, but I see where we're going here. So it's going to be interesting.
So I think the purpose of this scene was to show two extremes, pleasure and pain. Because if you look at his face, most of the time he's really depressed and really struggling with all these internal traumas that he's experienced, not just as a child, but also in his adult life. He feels like nobody loves him, no one cares about him. And he's in this room full of people who are just, feeling extreme pleasure, but here he is still feeling very, very in pain and in depression and all of that. So I think they just wanted to have that contrast to show how extreme his pain really is.
I think you're absolutely right. You know what this scene actually reminded me of? If you've watched Breaking Bad, when Jesse throws the party at his house and he's surrounded by people and he's not feeling it. He's just sitting on the couch, not enjoying himself. He's not in a good place mentally. And I think you're absolutely right. He just wanted to be surrounded by people in that moment, but it's not filling the empty void in his heart. So yeah, I agree with you. Good assessment.
That'll be.
Yeah, I didn't know I was confused on that. I like Shay's analogy on that. But I have a question. So, and for the life of me, I can't think of his name. But was that the real crazy dude that imposed himself as Peacemaker's friend in there too? That stood there naked, dancing right in front of him?
I don't think Vigilante was in there.
No, Vigilante was in there. But it did look like Vigilante.
Yeah, I don't think.
Was it him or no?
No, it wasn't him. He was at his. He was at his job.
I'm like, it sure looked like him, but
it did look like him.
Oh yeah, because he was at work, right? Because he was on the phone early. Okay,
he had the owl quiz, right?
So,
yes, yes.
I friggin' love.
Well, I knew that,
Vigilante.
but
I love the way he portrays that guy.
I want to agree 100% with Shay, her assessment right here. This is all about trying to mask your pain through pleasure and it not working. And then he goes through the extreme of actually, going through the portal and stuff like that though. But let's just go to the extreme of the director here. He didn't have to show pleasure and pain like this, right? It could have been very softcore porn USA Network. This is full on when Showtime started doing this stuff, right? This is like there's movement and shit. You know what I mean? It's whoa, and it's not like Dream On, right? You guys saw HBO Dream On, right? That's when we started having softcore porn on HBO. But this was not 1 minute or 2 minutes. This is a fucking 5-minute monologue of this stuff, right? So but yeah, to kind of reel it back, if you're not looking at the deplorables here. I agree with you 100%, Shay. It's just pain and pleasure right here. Him not being able to mask it, him trying his best to try to mask it. I mean, he's like a whole damn party right here, and it's not working out for him. And, anyways, go ahead, D. I know you got a lot to say.
Oh, no, not a lot. I mean, this, took me by surprise. And then after we watched his podcast after, and then, getting to know how it was done. I mean, how he got these people to do what they did. But for me, when when he starts doing his drugs and you see these the first group of people by him, I thought it would be when it's only you that can see that because you're hallucinating, but not someone from the outside. So I thought that's what it was going to be until Economos was on the phone. Then he was looking through the window and he's like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh shit, he can see these people. Yeah. So I'm they just kind of I thought it was like they'll just disappear. It wasn't like actual people there, but they were actually there. So I thought that was like, yeah, he was just lost. Like he's just lost. And he just, what everyone's saying, he just wants to, I guess, be like numb to the pain and just not feel that. Yeah, in a way, like an escape, I guess. Yeah, that was just my thoughts on it. I just thought it was like, oh, he's the only one seeing it. And then when they paneled to Economos, it would have been like him seeing Peacemaker just like standing there, just doing something weird, but not seeing the people. You know what I mean? But yeah.
They could have picked the best character to find out about the orgy first, right? But that guy,
Yeah.
right? He was like the best reaction.
Yes.
And he went with it too while he was on the phone with what's his name?
Nothing
Yeah.
unusual. No, not
Yeah, I was like,
unusual
no,
at all,
just
actually.
just a regular Friday night.
Just Chris.
Yeah.
Just Chris doing Chris stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chris, what'd you think, Christopher?
Oh man, guys! So I got a little interesting moment. So I have like some electronic blinds, and they're hooked up to like my smart remote. And I never was so thankful for that feature that I programmed on that remote, because there's people walking by and there's some heavy traffic because it's Sunday, and I like my sun rays, whenever I can get them. So blinds fully open, just watching the show. It's completely unexpected. I was not expecting that. My remote's like sitting right next to me. I flipped that button so quick, the blind like so quick.
Like
I'm like, oh, okay. I paused it. I'm like, whoa, that was so close. And then we resumed. But yeah, definitely an interesting. That was probably the most, the most intense scene that I've ever seen on a TV show. Probably in a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I thought you were gonna say, guys, this and Laser. Oh my god! 4K,
Surround sound.
And it went for an extensive period of time. I was like, how long is this gonna go for?
Yeah, it's like, I hope the kids don't just like barge in.
I can go bake a pizza. I don't know, Slider. I hope the kids were sleeping when you watched this.
Yeah, now this is one of the reasons why it took me 3 hours to finish this episode, because my daughter was home from school because she had been sick. So like, I definitely had to pause it during this point and like kind of go see what was going on, and then went back in. But I mean, I don't think you really would expect less from Peacemaker. So for that part, it's kind of like, what drove him into his spiral, right, was like hardcore kind of like rejecting him, and then he goes into this kind of drug fueled, orgy, and and then how you said it definitely does come around. So I see what Gunn was doing, and he did, and it was really good. How he did it is like, he stumbles in and then goes into that, the next dimension, where it's completely different. It's a completely different, Peacemaker. So I think that was really good, like how he did that and everything. But yeah, the scene definitely, dragged on for a little bit with that part. So yeah, what I got.
Something that just dawned on me, back to what with Shay's analogy of the pain and the pleasure. He had also just been rejected, basically, very strongly, and now here he's being accepted very strongly.
It's a very good observation.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I think for him, everything in his life is to the extremes, and so this trying to heal fill whatever was missing inside of him had to go to the absolute extreme. That's why it is as intense as the scene is. So, yeah, it obviously has us talking, and it shocked all of us in the same manner. So it grabbed our attention for sure.
And I think Gunn is flexing here, because he essentially said in his podcast, DC's letting me do whatever I want with this show.
Wow.
This is what I'm doing. And,
hey.
So because like if you guys notice, right, and we'll get to the brother, right? The brother is a very interesting character because he played a different character in a different show with his ex-wife. So but we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's get to Harcourt right here and see her pain and how she's dealing with this. And she's not dealing with pleasure now. She's dealing with it by taking it out on others right here.
Yeah.
And there comes a point where I thought, okay, she's going to beat the shit out of everybody. And then all of a sudden she gets freaking handed to right here. So let's talk about this. What's you guys' thoughts about Harcourt and where she's at? We'll start with you, Shay.
Well, I feel like she herself was going through a lot of so much pain that this was her outlet. And especially someone, remember at the beginning when she was being reprimanded by whoever her boss was, and how she had this toxic masculinity, and it's playing itself out here. And I think it's kind of that she has a chip on her shoulder. She just feels like she has the ability to kick anyone's ass, so she's going to do it without thinking, without, considering consequences. And she just goes for it. So it's kind of like she just has no ability to filter her thoughts and actions. And so she just goes for it. I kind of love that. But I did not expect her to get her ass whooped like that either. Yeah. So I was surprised about that part. But at the same time, I also felt like maybe that was supposed to happen to kind of be a wake-up call for her. So as much as I love her spunk and her badassery, I think that it was a good learning opportunity for her, maybe. I don't know. We'll see next episode, I guess.
Yeah. Metabeast.
I pretty much agree a lot with Shay. That discussion earlier. Well, what am I supposed to do then? I'm sure knowing her, she had a lot of rage in there. So I don't know if that was her way of releasing it, or if she was looking to just feel something by getting the ass beat out of her, which did surprise me as well, because she grabbed that pool ball. I thought, oh yeah, here we go. They're fucking, they're, excuse my language, they're gonna get their asses whooped. But that's kind of my take on it. I kind of think she wanted to feel.
I'm with you 100% with your assessment. I really feel like she just wanted to feel something, and she got it. She felt something in the end, because at the very end of this scene, and it's a very long scene as well, she's smiling after getting her ass beat, right? And so, yeah, I really felt like, I think you're spot on that, Metabeast. Go ahead, Slider.
No, I agree with you. I agree with what Shay said, and also Metabeast. I think she got exactly what she wanted when she went to that bar. Because you can see that, she has all that anger from what just happened, like this has been her life the whole time. She even says she's been to CIA, FBI, NSA, and now she's getting blackballed, for basically kind of like what, what happened in season 1. So I think she goes into that bar and, she wants to fight. She wants to get that anger out. But I also think she knows she's going into a bar with, a whole bunch of guys, and, she doesn't care. She just wants to feel something. And at the end, she does give that little bit of a smile, kind of saying like, I got what I wanted, out of it. And, I think it's really good what Gunn is doing here, because it's kind of like Peacemaker besides that orgy scene, but over season 1, he's kind of like becoming better, and then she's kind of like spiraling a little bit here, and it's kind of like they're kind of meeting in the middle a little bit. So yeah, I think that's really, really good what he's doing with the character development in this. So yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Totally agree. What about you, Kristopher?
Oh yeah, just continuation from what you guys said. It was just she got what she wanted, and it was a continuation of what Chris was going through too as well. I will say, throughout this scene, I can only envision the writer coming in and kicking some ass. That's what I was envisioning. I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm writing episode 3. The script's being written right now. So nice. It's coming. You know what I didn't know, guys, is I didn't know that this was Gunn's wife. Yeah, I had no idea. Like I remember Gunn's other wife, who was she was from Parks and Rec. But I didn't know that this was his wife too. So this was a big surprise to me when I watched his podcast, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I get to do something with my wife and whoever plays Economos or whatever, right? Because they're the co-hosts and stuff like that." Though, but I thought that was a really cool dynamic. It's very interesting that his wife is this badass, and I didn't know that this character existed in Black Adam, as well as I think Shazam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that
She's
either.
been in like a few of the DCEU movies before Peacemaker.
Oh, interesting.
So, very
yeah, I
interesting.
think it's interesting that how each one of them is dealing with essentially rejection. She's rejected from being able to get a job, and nobody wants her, even though this is all she knows how to do. And he's rejected from the group that he wants to be in. And each one of them deals with that rejection in their own way. He grew up like Shay had mentioned, not having love from his father, and dealing with the pain of what happened with his brother when they were kids, and his father blaming him for that. And I think with her, we've seen this in season 1 where she just being at a bar, she's constantly hounded and harassed, and so this is her way of dealing with that, is this lashing out and attacking, as opposed to him. He wanted to be surrounded by, like Shay said, people that are having pleasure, and I don't know necessarily they're in love, they're in lust in that scene, but the point is that they each are dealing with rejection in their own unique way. It'll be interesting to see how that progresses through the season.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, Shane, because now that you say that, it's almost like she was fishing, like she was looking for an opportunity to
100%.
get into this.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
I didn't think about that before, so good point.
Thanks.
Biggest bro.
Yeah, man. That scene where she's getting blackballed and she knows it's Amanda Waller blackballing her.
Yeah.
And she looked at him and goes, "You're telling me it's toxic masculinity?
Yeah.
Is that what you're telling me? Females in a male-dominated thing, that's all they deal with, right? Because that's what they check. So guess where she's going? I'm going to where I know it is prevalent here, and I'm gonna show you. Like, I'm supposed to be about this. I'm about this, right? So it's just, and then even with the scene with Peacemaker, right? And she's just like, look, bro, like it wasn't what you thought it was. Like, and she's like, and she's treating him like he's simple too. She's like, look, this isn't what you thought it was. It's not gonna happen. I'm not that person. Whatever happened, that's what it was, buddy. Like, that's what it is. Like, so yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see her character progress this season. I know her actually from The Daily Show. She's like one of the hosts on The Daily Show, so it's really cool. I didn't know she was James.
That's her?
That's her. Daisy Light.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
She's on The Daily Show?
That's her.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Get
The funny girl. Yeah, that's her. She was pregnant.
Oh, I didn't
my mind
realize
has
that.
been blown. I was thinking how she looked familiar, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but I didn't know that was her.
Yeah, when I saw her season 1, I was like, "Holy crap, that's crazy!"
Oh my god,
She's everywhere.
You just blew my mind.
You just blew my mind too. That's crazy.
Like,
Would you guys say that when he said toxic masculinity, he also meant Amanda Waller? Because wouldn't she kind of have a? I'd say if she's got toxic masculinity, I would say Amanda Waller definitely does.
1000%.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I think she's got the baby. You got the baby?
Yeah, he's okay now. Is it my turn?
No. No, this actress's name is Jennifer Holland.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's different? Oh, wait. No, my bad.
Biggest bro.
You had us for a while.
My bad. Hey, my bad.
Fake news. Fake news.
That's my bad. Hey.
Wait. I got one for this. Everybody. Remember now, where is it? We're good.
Trying to flip us up. John.
Okay,
You're never gonna live that one down, biggest bro.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm
D,
so gullible.
Yeah,
Final
I
thoughts,
mean,
D?
for a minute I was like, wait a minute.
You
Um,
had me because I saw the Daily Show. So
Yeah, I love Desi Lydic on there. She's great.
um,
Anyway,
so my thought in this, she, so she is a badass, and I know she can hold her own, but she's also filled with so much like pain, and also not trusting people to get too close. And so a lot of things that she does, I feel she does it on purpose to keep people at a distance, even though she wants them to, I guess, accept her or to be part of something, but she's still like so guarded. And because like to get like all like her rage and all her frustration that she can't land any jobs with any of the three letters in the government, because of what she and her team did, to try and, save the world, basically. But this is what they get. It's like, if I were in that situation, I would be pissed too. And going to the gym and, boxing with someone, that's not going to cut it for her because, like, she is way beyond that. So, yeah, I'm going to go just like in, the first, like, I forgot what episode it was in season 1 where she was at the bar and she also got into a fight.
yeah.
So, yeah, she went into that bar knowing full well like what she was gonna give and what she was gonna take.
Yep.
She was gonna give as much as she's to let all that rage out, and she's gonna allow others to do that to her so she can feel anything. And so like that whole scene where she was just like fighting them, I was like, oh, this lady is kicking ass. Like, I enjoyed that scene. And even when she was like getting like pummeled and
it's like
stuff,
she
like
grew up here, right, D?
like when she was getting pummeled and stuff, I was like, no, like couldn't you just get up? I mean, like you are fighting like a lot of people, so I mean, eventually you would get ganged up on. But so I think she knew that going in, she was gonna, knock them out and hurt them just as much as they would probably hurt her too, because these were not skinny guys in the bar. And then when they just threw her out and she's just over there with the smirk, she was like, okay, I am satisfied now. I got what I came here for.
Yeah.
So yeah, just that scene for me, I just got that, she's a pretty badass woman. But just because of stuff that she's going through, she's, I think she always feels like she's got to keep herself at a distance. So even the people that she works close with. That's what I got up. Yeah. What's that?
I absolutely love symbolism. And as we're sitting here talking about this, I didn't even pick up at this. This is why I love doing this show and having these conversations, because things appear to me that I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. She gets thrown out of the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Peacemaker walks through the door to the other dimension. And the way that they both are dealing with their trauma in different ways, they both are going through a door to another way, another side of what's going to happen to their in their lives. If that's true with that bit of symbolism, because the scenes are very parallel in the way that they between those two characters. So I wonder if there's something there with that, the way that they go through the doorway.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Because
let's talk about that doorway. All right, let's go back to the beginning of this scene, and let me kind of explain. So I thought when we first started this season that it was going to be an alternate universe type of thing, and that would explain how we got from DCEU to DCU. But no, right away we're retconning Snyderverse in a sense, right? But then we go to the orgy scene, and and still I'm like, okay, you know what? He's still like in the DCEU, and they're gonna explain this, right? And they don't. And then we go into an alternate universe where we find out that not only is his brother alive, but also his dad. And then I'm just like, well, what's going on here? Because we're essentially retconning the Snyderverse, although he could have used his dad's workshop to kind of explain the alternate universe. But then we go to a different universe. And then in this universe, these two are alive. They're, I guess, a superhero trio. At least that's what we're told, that the top trio, what a horrible name, that, you know, they're the heroes of that dimension, I guess. And his brother Keith is alive. And what I thought was really cool is I recognized this guy from Parks and Rec. And he was the ex-husband of Gunn's ex-wife. And I find it funny, symbolism, that he hires this guy to be the brother on the show. So I thought it was really cool. And what you guys thoughts about having, I guess, the family back together again? What do you guys think is going to happen? Shay.
Well, it looks like he took over the role of the of Peacemaker in that universe, right? Because he killed him, so he's now going to have to play out that role. So again, that's the quantum immortality thing I was talking about earlier, jumping timelines. And I'm not really sure, because it's anything could happen at this point. Is he going to stay in that timeline? He can't really, because that's not his timeline. He'll have to go back to where he belongs. But what's going to happen to the Peacemaker that was in that timeline? He's just not going to exist anymore. So I feel like there's so much up in the air that anything can happen. I can't even predict. I can't even give a guess.
Yeah, I feel like what you're saying here, it's like, for this universe, I feel like it's a universe where he's gotten everything he's ever wanted, right? His dad and his brothers, they're alive. They've got his love, his assurances, right? There's memories. They live in a big house. They're loved. Harcourt loves him, because I watched the preview. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see that as well. So this is like his thing, right? This is like everything he's wanted. But then it's kind of like, what happens to you when you get everything you want, right? And I think that's what we're gonna find out, or at least that's my assumption.
Interesting. For me, all I could think about when he was entering the code was, what was the code?
I looked at it. There were two totally different codes. When he entered, it was a different code. When he came back through the other way, it was a totally different code. It started with a 2. The other one started with a different number. I tried to pick it up.
So the one that starts with the 2, the 261011, there's actual in real life significance to that, and he plays a homage to Robert Patrick. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, when I see numbers, any kind of numbers, I'm like, what does that mean on a dial pad? What does it spell out?
Bro, we need Shay and D on the escape room next time we go to Vegas. I think they're going to help us a lot.
That would be interesting to do.
That would be.
I don't think he's going to live in that world very long. They've already established that they sit around and drink and talk about old times, and he has no clue what any of those old times are. And eventually, it's not going to take very long before the brother or the father goes, "Oh yeah, remember that one time we did this?" as a test, and he's going to go, "Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we never did
it didn't happen.
Who are you? And what are you doing here? Where is my brother?" And so, yeah, it's interesting. What's that song where you can dip your foot in the pool, but you can't have a swim? Like Howard Jones, that's the one. Like he has this perfect world, but he can't actually have it because he didn't live it. He has no historical knowledge of it from age 14 or 12 or whatever it was on until today. So yeah, it'll all come crumbling down for sure. But you know, in a spectacular fashion, I will imagine.
What was interesting too is like he recognized his brother. I like that part where he recognized his brother right away, even though he was like all grown up.
Yeah.
Because in his universe, or in his world, he passed away, look at 12, 13, however old he was. So he was still a kid. But like right when he got into the light, when his brother got into the light by the truck, he was just like, Keith? Like he knew it right away. Like how did?
But you know why? I think it was so long since he's heard a loving tone that like, wait, like, you know, like that's your brother. You know what I mean? Like they still had a really good relationship, even though like all the bad blood happened. And I mean, that's probably since his brother, since he's heard that loving tone. You know what I mean? Just like, because I don't know what he said. Like, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be somewhere else? You know what I mean? And he's just like, and you know, and we saw it earlier in the scene. He's used to people shit talking in front of his face. You know what I mean? Like just directly in front of him. So in living in like seeing that whole world and just like his mind is just being blown the entire time. He's just like, look at my dad. My dad is chilling right now. Look how my brother turned out. Like, and we all love each other. Like just off the bat, we're joking around each other, stuff like that. Now I still think they're completely evil. Like we don't know if they're gonna be evil. I think they're evil. I still think they're bad guys. But
it's like Judge Dredd.
Yeah. That still looks terrifying. Like I don't think you're. Oh, thank you, Devil Horn Man, for saying.
Yeah.
That thing is still terrifying. But like, and then one thing I really want to know is, why did Eagly want to go through the door? Like, what was? Because in the beginning, that's who's choosing the door. Like you know, like hey, try this door.
Yeah.
So like, why did he want to go there? Like, because Eagly never goes inside, right? Like, so like. But why is he telling him to go inside that door? And again, this is the second time that he went through the door. I don't think we see the first time, right? Did we see the first time he goes in?
Yeah, the first time he goes in, the dad sees him and says, "What are you doing? Are you up sleepwalking again?"
Yeah, they run.
And then he bolts. Then he bolts.
Oh, because he's in the underwear. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that, right? Like, it's like what you guys said, just seeing that world, wanting that world, but you can't have this world. You know what I mean? That is right there, and like, so, and like you said, everything that he's always wanted is just right there. Everybody knows. I'm gonna slip right in. Like everybody thinks they can do that, right? But it's like you said, his dad, his brother, they're gonna catch him. They're gonna test them because they're smart guys. You know what I mean? Like I tell people all the time, just because people from the South talk slow doesn't mean they're slow. That's
well, it could
I
also
agree
be
with you on that.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, go ahead, Shane. Go ahead.
No, it could also be like a Groundhog Day situation where, you know, next episode he ends up getting caught, and then he busts through the door and goes to find another door, and he keeps trying to find the right world that he can slip his way into. And because there's endless amounts of doors within that universe, within that pocket, right? So maybe he has to go through 100 doors before he comes to realize I just need to fix the shit in the world that I belong in.
Or maybe he realizes the world that he was from was the best case scenario anyway, no matter what other worlds he tries to go into.
Yep. That's the character growth.
Because I agree with the biggest bro. We don't know what these three in that world are, that the trio are in that world. Yeah. But the way his alternate self came at him did not come across as. I mean, there was no
friendly.
Give him a second. Who are you? You know what's going on here. He's like, no.
Yeah, look at his eyes.
Yeah. I mean, they were doing some like light teasing of him during the drinking situation. Maybe that was the lightest that it ever is. Maybe the rest of the time that they're together, they gang up on him because he's the little brother. Who knows? Yeah, we don't know what their situation is. You're right.
Slider.
Yeah, I think most of what everybody said I agree with. I think that this was a great contrast to the scene right before it, because he goes into this world and, he's sitting there and he kind of can't believe it. And, you kind of see him, he keeps looking around and, it just, you get that feeling that he kind of still thinks this is a dream, but it's kind of like what he wanted. Like, you can kind of see like the drugs and all that from the scene before, like it didn't do anything for him. But this scene, just sitting there talking with his brother who's now alive and his father who's not, a racist, is something that he's always wanted, you know. So it's a great contrast, but then it's also that I think he at the end, obviously, when you know himself from that universe tries to kill him, you know, he's kind of realizing like, okay, this isn't my universe, but you know, then what's he gonna do? Is he gonna go try to, you know, impersonate himself in that one? I think so, but I think he's gonna get found out. I think that's what's gonna happen, and then you know that's gonna cause a whole big issue. And then you know I don't know how much of the multiverse they're going to use in this. You know, they said they were going to do it and they have the doors and all that kind of stuff, so it'll be interesting to see how they, you know, how they work it all in, you know, because when I you know first, you know, saw this, I thought they were going to do, you know, what you said, Hinanu. They were going to basically like make this be the universe that, you know, he was coming from, and they were, you know, not just retcon the, you know, and put him in to that universe from the beginning with, you know, everything. You know, I thought he was gonna like this was gonna be the new DCU universe, and he would just kind of like take over his self in this one, and then like that would be the universe. So it seems kind of like that's not the way they're going, but you know, that'll be interesting to see how it all ties together, you know. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Kristopher, round it out.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just multiverse definitely was different expectation when they both cross each other. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to see like how much of the alternate universe gets crossed over into the real world, and I don't know. It just looks very interesting. So
it's interesting about alternate universe because I really feel like it's going to be pluralized, not only in this season but in this gun universe. I go back to the crack, you know, in Superman. I feel like, you know, and Lex opening up the black hole and doing all that crazy stuff. I feel like that somehow has done something weird in the DCU. Things are off, like the crack. Anyway, D, anything else you want to add to this before we kind of close it out almost?
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else to add to that. That's all. We shall see. Oh no, I do. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he got a jetpack.
Yes, he did.
He wanted a jetpack in the other one, and this guy had a jetpack. Didn't do him good at the end, but yeah.
No.
What a way to go. Anyway, that's it.
That's funny you say that because that's what he used against him. Like the thing that he wants the most. He's just like, take that. And like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like Edna Mold said, no capes.
No capes.
From The Incredibles.
Well, it's interesting you're saying that the multiverse is going to be a strong element throughout all of the gun universe. Does that mean we're going to end with Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Yeah, I would think that we're heading there. I mean, we kind of had like a little tiny snippet thingy in the Flash, but like, and you know what? Like, if you've watched CW, DC, or just DC in general, they're always going back to some multiverse event. I mean, they had it every year on the CW, right? Yeah. So, and DC is always good with that. Like, the one thing I loved about DC, and I think maybe Marvel might have pushed themselves in the corner, is they were okay with Elseworlds. You know, we had Superman and Lois. I love that Superman. I will always remember that. And to be very honest, and Dee's right. I always would say that Henry Cavill is my daughter's Superman, but I'm wrong. It's actually Tyler Hoechlin from Superman and Lois, because she grew up watching those guys. So like stuff like that, that DC's always been good at doing, is creating different multiverses and then kind of bring them all together in a sense, right? And so like for me, this is like, you know, nothing new for DC. Now Marvel's not really doing a good job with that, and hopefully they get better with that. But let's kind of like bring it back to the entire team, because there's certain people that we didn't talk about in the episode. We didn't talk about Adrian. We didn't talk about what's her name? Adebayo, I think her name is.
Adebayo, Leota.
We never talked about them. And then, you know, also what's his face, right? Economos and stuff like that, though. So let's kind of talk about these guys, because I know what's his face? Adrian was talking with Economo about the owls. I thought that was a pretty funny scene, and I like that character for who he is. He's just very he's a badass character, but he's very interesting. So what's your guys' thoughts on everyone left in the Peacemaker team?
I thought he was gonna know a lot about owls, so I was waiting for that, and I was like, this guy knows shit about owls. Just ask me another one.
He talks
I
all
love
kinds
his
of shit.
character.
That's
Yeah.
all he does is talk shit, though.
But he does fight well.
Yeah, Vigilante
Yeah,
is one of
he
my
does.
favorite characters on the show. Just the
Same.
his need for, he just wants a friend. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, he's just I've met people like that before. It's like, please let me into your world and let me, like, I want to be your friend. And it's what's the I don't know what that the term thirsty or whatever. Like you want it too much. Like you gotta back off a little bit.
My daughter calls it the poodle effect because she has a friend like that where, and you know who I'm talking about, they call her the poodle because like they want like that their friend wants so much attention. They want to be seen, you know, recognized, acknowledged. Sometimes it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So, and that's because of their personality, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'd rather he be my friend than probably anything else, because even if it's not he's not your enemy, you probably are not in a good position.
Yeah,
he is a
Vigilante's hilarious, but he is not to be played with. Like that boy gets down. So yeah, that's my homie. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's probably why homeboy let him come to the wedding. Like, look, you invite yourself, but we're gonna have some cake, dude. It's all good, buddy.
That makes sense now.
Look, there's certain people like, look, man, hey, you got it, dog.
I think he really does need that too, because he likes, and I respect Peacemaker, who can kind of, you know, keep him under control a little bit too.
Yeah,
that's how I feel. I mean, if given the free reins, if whatever the situation, he will not play nice, but I believe Peacemaker can keep him in check a little.
I really hope we have an origin story between how they both met. You know what I mean? Because I want to know how they both kind of came to be as friends. I think that would be very interesting. But what I love about this, just to kind of hone it back, is this is a street level gang right here. These guys, they're not Superman, they're not Guy Gardner with a ring, they're not Hawk Girl. They have they can get hurt very badly, but at the same time, they're pretty badass. They're not to be messed with. But they're the B-level heroes, right? So it's kind of like you have that dynamic too. So this is like the true underdog story. And I was telling Dee this before we came on the show, that Peacemaker is slowly becoming one of my favorite characters in the DCU, just because I'm a big fan of John Cena, and I really like where they're going with this. I really enjoy what Gunn said in his podcast about this show, where they have creative like full creative rights to it. You know what I mean? Like, obviously within a box, right? But like that box is huge, obviously, with the orgy scene, right? So it's interesting to see where this is going to go now that Gunn is fully in the role of leading the DCU, because when he was doing season 1, he wasn't really fully in the role yet. Obviously, we had the Justice League in season 1, and now the Justice Gang. So now he's the big boss honcho, and it's interesting to see where this is going to go, guys. So final thoughts? Any spoilers? Any speculation, Nation, where you think the season's going to go? We'll start with you, Shay.
Gosh, well, I feel like there are a lot of growth opportunities for all of the characters, because we're seeing each and every one of them. We're seeing what their traumas are. We're seeing what their passions and their interests and their goals are. So I think that there's a really big opportunity for all of that. But I don't know. I love the different multiverses that we get to peer into. I am really excited about this. I did not expect to be as excited about the show as I am right now. Like, I feel like season 2, even though it's just the first episode, I think it kind of really solidified it for me. Season 1 was awesome, and it was very funny, and I loved it. I loved the writing, every aspect of it. But I feel like season 2 is going to blow season 1 out of the water.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah,
I said I agree. Meta Beast.
I don't even have a clue what to expect. I'm guessing, as a lot of the things we talked about there's going to be a lot of coping or dealing with internal fights with themselves. I look forward to seeing what happens, what role Waller's daughter plays in it. She didn't do too much. And some people may not like this, but it didn't dawn on me till a little bit ago. But if you remember after the interview with the gang, and he says Peacemaker said to her that about calling him a cocksucker or dick sucker or whatever, and he goes, that was a compliment, and that wasn't an insult. But then you see in the whole orgy thing too, it was the picture that you had posted up there with the guy possibly has a turmoil with bisexuality or something as well.
Slider.
Yeah, I think coming off of season 1, this kind of like it resets them, but like in a worse position than they were, I think, for most of them than they were in the original, from the beginning season. So what I mean is that like they're all kind of like they saved the world, right? I think they all thought like, okay, this is their big shot. They saved the world. Everything was just going to be up from here. But they're all kind of like in a worse spot. Like even at a biome, like when, she's in the hotel room and, there it's that scene. I just forgot his name. But, he basically says like, you're not doing better. Like you're in the lowest level of Grand Theft Auto, so like she's, doing worse, and Hardcore's like can't get a job now. Peacemaker's, got the rejection going on. He can't get on the team. So I think like, hopefully it's going to be like, maybe they're going to find out towards the end of the season that like just being together as a group is the best part of it. It's not, they save the world, and they're trying to find this thing from everybody else, but maybe it's just the group together is what they find out in the end. So I don't know. That's just kind of my take.
I like that. Kristopher.
Yeah, this episode went down a dark path. I hope, during all of season 1, I was just laughing every episode. The comebacks for like every scene, there was just 1 or 2 comebacks that just had to be rolling. So I hope to see a little bit more of those. And I'm really excited to see what happens. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Shane.
Yeah. For me, if you follow standard storytelling tropes, there's a point in every story where they call it everything is lost. There's a point, right before they do their redemption at the end. And usually it's pretty easy to see within a film. I almost feel like in this long story, if this is, intends to be 4 seasons or however many seasons, this is the point in the story where all is lost. Everybody in the team is at their somewhat lowest point, like the breakup of Amanda Waller's daughter and her significant other. Vigilante's working as a almost like a dishwasher at a restaurant, and Peacemaker, nobody wants him, and he feels like nobody cares about him. Hardcore can't get a job, and what's the guy with the glasses?
Economos.
He's relegated to spying on his friends. So all of them are in their worst positions. And I think you're absolutely right. I think Metabeast, you said that eventually they're going to come to the point, maybe it was a Slider, you said that they're going to come to a point that they realize they're stronger together, and that's the family that they were all looking for, essentially. And I think that's going to, each one of them is going to have to go their own path to get to that realization. And I think for Peacemaker, I'm pretty convinced he's going to go through a lot of doors in that pocket. And I think Amanda Waller's daughter, she's going to stand up to her mother, and that'll give her the strength she needs to fix her relationship. I think that this is going to be a lot of healing and figuring out who they are and landing where they need to land probably towards the middle of the season before something's going to come together that requires them to come together as a team together.
Let's go. The biggest bro.
Man, I don't know what's going to happen this season, but I know what I think needs to happen this season is stakes need to be on the line. It needs to be really some stakes on the line that really can impact the movies and the DCU. I think we see with Marvel, when there's no stakes and there's no real reason that these shows are happening, people are disinterested. Same thing that's kind of happening with some of the Star Wars stuff too, right? Like, if it's not really affecting the timeline, what am I really watching this for? So I think that something like it has to tie in somehow, and I think we're in good hands in a sense where I think they're doing the origins of these people correctly, right? Like, I know a lot of people didn't like Superman's origin, but I loved it. I love that, like, we're already in. You know what I mean? We don't have to do the redial. We don't have to redo the thing again. So, like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to see the Batman alley scene, which I'm very okay with. I'm very okay. Like, you know, there's these certain scenes where I don't think I need to see, but I think that it's going to be interesting introducing, you know, who we know as the Justice League into these movies and into these shows. So I think that's where we're going with this one. I think this first show has to have some stakes in this in order for it to punch down. Because I think what the first one did was very good. It surprised us, right? Like, I think that's why a lot of us like the season 1 theme song. Nobody was expecting that intro. Nobody was expecting that. And then when we got it, we're like, wow, that's amazing. And then that's what happened this season. Right now, we're coming back like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? Oh, you know, and I think, like you guys said, I think it's a ruse. I think they did that on purpose. They know it's like that. So I think we're going to see some big things happen in this show. That's my belief. I think that there are going to be major stakes on the line. And yeah, I'm excited.
D?
So eventually, something or someone is going to come out of many of the quantum chambers into their universe, and then they're going to have to go and team up together and figure their shit out and then save the world again. I think that's what's going to happen along the line of them, like, and I hope we get more of the other team members and they're like what they're up to in a more detailed way, where how we had Harcourt and Peacemaker season or episode 1. So I hope we get more of that. Yeah, eventually whatever they're all going through is all going to lead them back together, and, you know, just like they're going to come to the realization that even though they're all messed up in their own ways, they are essentially better together. Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think because we're playing with multiverses here, that we're going to see double of these characters. Like, we already know there's another Harcourt. There's going to be another Adrian. There's going to be another Economo. And when we meet these other characters that are like them, right? What are they going to be like, right? Maybe in the other world, Adrian's some big businessman instead of like working at some fast food place and like doing owl trivia with Economo, right? So I feel like that's going to happen as well. And the one thing that just really stuck out to me right from the get-go is something's off. You know what I mean? From the intro, just the intro was off to me. It was just something was off with that. You know, something's off with them. Something's off with Harcourt. So like, and I think now that we've had this conversation, and you're right, Shane, when we have this show, like we have these realizations. It's like the realization is, I think Gunn is purposely making us feel like something's off, and we're going to feel that way going forward, moving forward, and all that stuff. Also, I want to answer a question I saw here from Hunter Iggy. It says, True Media Group, who do you think the secret cameos are in the 6th, 7th, and 8th episode? And I did hear there are going to be some cameos. I really feel like, because Peacemaker is a very, very colorful universe, that Superman ain't going to just be popping in, right? You know, because that's like their creme de la creme. The kids look up to him, right? It'd be weird to have him. Maybe he might come in his cape, but that doesn't mean Supergirl can't stop in, right? Because she's already established as that kind of gritty character. I also think that maybe another Lantern could show up. Maybe not, Hal Jordan, but maybe Jon Stewart, just to kind of like introduce him or something like that. That's who I think might be coming in. I don't know about like the three. Those are the two that I think might show up. And I'm just looking forward to the new season. It's good. I'm glad a show like this is out here. I like that we can talk about a show like Severance and kind of continue on like this and kind of like have this type of conversation instead of making it structured like how we do it in Jurassic World. So shout out to everybody who joined us today. Also the 100+ people watching right now, as well as the new people, that are in the chats. I see some new people in there. And yeah, give us your thoughts, good or bad. As long as you're respectful, it's super cool. And guys, that is the show. That has been the Severed Floor. And I'm assuming we're going to come back for episode 2, guys. We're going to keep this going. So,
yes.
Yes.
And everybody here is pretty much a part of the show. So I'm just throwing everyone's name on the intros going forward. Whether you guys are able to show up or not, you guys are always going to be the intro. MetaBeast, you made your name's going to be on the next one. So let's go, guys. Also, I want to give a shout out to True Media. I'm not going to be here this week, you guys. So it's going to be just Big Bro, D, and Raven. And they have a flurry of shows going on this week right here. We have episode 295 of the live stream with Virtual Radio, as they're going to be doing a Fannable live unboxing. Shout out to Sergio and the team. They actually donated a supported giveaway. The team is going to unbox, and then somebody's going to get a slab on Tuesday. Shout out to Fannable. Also, guys, MetaBeast, we are going to be focusing on virtual destinations on Wednesday, and we're going to have a strictly virtual destinations episode, as D and MetaBeast is going to be interviewing Dad Cypher from Ethereum Towers. He's the COO. So,
which we visited was the apartment.
I remember. We didn't go anywhere, so hopefully you guys go somewhere on Wednesday.
I already have somebody who would love to join us in their apartment and show us around.
There you go. Send them the link. But we're not done yet, because we also have Absolute Virtual Radio is returning once again with Shay Byron and the True Media team as they discuss the latest DC3 drops coming for September, ending it on Friday. And guys, I may pop in on Friday from the airport, but D is going to just do a regular community hangout with everybody, since I'm going to be gone. It just didn't make sense to have a guest, so she's going to hold down the fort for Friday, guys, and that is what's going on with True Media. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate everyone for tuning in every time. Go ahead, Shay. We're not done yet. Go ahead.
So we've got Peacemaker Tries Hard #1 DC3 dropping this Wednesday. So don't forget to pick that up. Come by candy.io.
Heck yeah. And I can't wait to hear what you guys pull on Friday's show. I'll be watching the replay. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch live, but I'm sure you guys are going to nail it. D, close out the show.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the people on the panel. Love this lineup. Really fun talking with everybody about Peacemaker, season 2, episode 1. What an eye-opening episode it was. Thank you for everyone listening and hanging out with us as well. This has been really fun, and I hope you guys all come back when we review episode 2 and find out more about all the characters that we love or beginning to love in this series. So yeah, thank you, everybody, and please have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. For everybody else's evening. Yeah. Or your Mondays in the future. But until next time, we'll see everybody.
Wait, real quick. I got to say, real quick. Big Bro, Shane, and D, look at this. Like, this started with just us 4. Now there's 8 of us up here.
Oh, yeah.
There's 8 of us up here. I remember when there was only 15 people watching us, and one of them was Ben Rose. And now we got 100+ people watching. Wow. You know what I mean? So, I'm very proud of where this show has gone, because this show really was just a bunch of buddies that just wanted to get together, talk about this, Severance. And now we're here, talking about all types of different things. And we have a huge lineup of people here. So I want to give a big shout out to Shay Byron, MetaBeast, Slider, and Kristopher for joining the crew.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's great.
Absolutely, guys. And so, guys, we'll catch you guys sometime next week. I'm going to let D and these guys figure out when we're going to be on next. But stay tuned for episode 2 of season 2 of Peacemaker. Other than that, take care, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Aloha.
the show.